Okay, ladies. So, hello and welcome to our festive mindset session. Sorry for the rescheduling, had some technical issues and some stuff going on Tuesday, but we are here and we are getting all the info in that you need. So do not fear. As I said already, great to have you here, Kimberly, for your first session, hopefully the first of many. So the reason that I decided, guys, to host this session is because I'm sure you'll agree with me, as incredible as, Christmas can be for a lot of people, and as magical as it can be and what have you, I also know that the festive period can also be a really challenging time for people for a variety of reasons, whether that's personal, whether that's to do with family, whether it's to do with friendships, whether it's God knows what, it could be to do with anything, right? And it can be a really challenging time. It could be that, I don't know, you've been doing so well in terms of sticking to your discipline and to your consistency with your eating and with your exercise. And then as soon as the festivities start, you don't know what to do because you haven't got a plan in place. You totally lose track and you feel like all that hard work that you've done goes to waste or will go to waste unless you put a plan in place, right? It could be that maybe you don't feel like you've got time to go to the gym or time to get your workouts in, because you're too busy with the social occasions or with the kids or with the family, with the husband, you've got the in-laws coming, whatever. Or it could be that, you have to spend time with certain people, maybe family members, maybe friends who perhaps drain your energy and you don't know how to deal with it. Yeah, whatever it is, I can assure you that I've been through it myself, most of it, and I've learned how to deal with it. And I can help you basically come up with a plan of action to make sure that you do stay on top of things as much as you can throughout this next few weeks and into the new year, obviously. Okay. So I'm going to talk you through a few different topics this evening. And for those who have sent in questions to me already, I'm going to be covering those answers throughout the session. I'm going to keep you all muted, mainly just because, as those of you who know me well, I get distracted very easily. So if you start unmuting and talking, I totally lose what I'm doing and where I'm going. So I'm keeping you muted. If you do have any questions, please post them in the chat box. And then at the end, if I'm saying anything and you've got questions surrounding what I'm saying, I'll come back to them at the end of the session and we can do a little bit of a Q&A. Okay. Now, before I get stuck in, I just want to say one thing. Okay. Now, I know that the festive season technically has already started, right? It lasts a few weeks in general. But please remember that actually it's only a few days, right? This is only a few days. Ellen, who likes to celebrate her birthday for 2 weeks, I'm sure is celebrating Christmas for about 3 months. Don't worry, I'm kind of with you. But please just remember, guys, it's only a few days, okay? So we've got Christmas Eve, we've got Christmas Day, and we've got Boxing Day. Those are really the 3 days, really only, which are the only ones where your routine really is going to be disrupted, like really disrupted, right? Those are the days that the gyms are closed. Those are the days that your PT, including myself, isn't going to be working. The food you're eating probably isn't going to be in line with your plan, with your goals. You're probably going to be drinking more than usual if you drink. And you're just going to be having fun. You're going to be doing things with your family and with your friends or whatever. But guys, as I said, that is only for 3 days. Yeah. And yes, there are certainly occasions where, we're going to be meeting up with friends and family and doing whatever from now, if it's not already happened, and in the lead up to Christmas. But during these next days leading up to those 3 days, you have everything within your power to remain in control without needing to make excuses. Okay. And I want you to remember that. Those of you who know me well, those of you who work with me, you know that I'm all about living your life, having a good time, finding balance. I love to have a drink. I love to go out for some food. I'm a very social person. I know you guys are as well. And I'm all for that. So by no means am I telling you that, I want you to count your calories every single day during December and this and that. Like, I'm not saying that. But, in terms of what you're doing and where you're going to be going over these next few weeks, just please remember that you're in control. Know when to rein it in, because you do know when to rein it in. We all know when we need to rein it in, and just know when you need to gain or regain that control if you do feel like you're falling off track, and just catch yourself before it goes too far. Yeah. So just wanted you to bear that in mind, guys, over the next couple of weeks, because as well, I just want to say this one thing as well, just because the mince pies are everywhere on sale. Just because the Prosecco is flowing, it doesn't mean that you have to reach for every single one of them. Yeah. Just because there's mince parties at every event, you don't have to eat all of them. Just because there's Prosecco at every party, you don't need to have 10 glasses. Decide, this is where it comes to planning ahead. I want you to decide which occasions you're going to go a bit wild and maybe let a bit loose. And then the rest of the time, just be normal. We don't need to be crazy wild every single day in December. Okay. I had a Christmas party last weekend with some of you guys. And I knew from the minute that I bought my ticket, I decided that that was going to be, you know, a night where I wanted to go a bit wild. So I did. I enjoyed the nibbles at Kim's house before we went out. I had a few too many Prosecco's and a few shots on the boat, living my best life. Had a few too many pigs in blankets, but I had no regrets because I just knew it was going to happen. I'd already decided that I was going to enjoy that night. And so what I did was the rest of the week leading up to that point, I was just normal. I stuck to my goals. I stuck to my exercise. I stuck to my steps. I stuck to drinking all the water. You know, everything else surrounding that was normal. So by the time the weekend came and I went, you know, I had this night out, didn't matter if I went slightly off track. Okay. So I don't want you to not enjoy yourself. Just be aware, make sensible choices, and just don't go wild 7 days of the week, basically, is the bottom line. So we're going to kick off. That was a very long introduction. We're going to kick off with some of my top tips regarding your fitness and your exercise, first of all. Okay. So the first thing and the most important thing that I want you to write down here and just to remember is just keep moving. Okay, just keep moving. And I'm not talking about workouts specifically here. I'm talking about just your general activity. So some of you may have heard of this phrase before, NEAT, N-E-A-T. Okay, now this stands for non-exercise. Don't worry, this is a bit complicated. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis. NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. You don't need to worry about those specific words, but what it means is basically your non-exercise activity that you're doing. So any movement, any activity that you're doing, which isn't a workout, yes, which isn't going to the gym or doing a workout with me or whatever it is you're doing. So for example, this could be going for a walk, getting in your 8,000 to 10,000 steps. Could be doing the cleaning, that burns calories. You know, you're constantly moving around, doing the hoovering, that's burning calories. Yeah, walking to the bus stop, all these things which we do every single day, or should definitely be doing as often as we can. These are the things, it's these non-exercise activities which actually make the biggest difference. Okay, so yes, your workouts are super important. It's important that you stick to a workout plan if you've got big goals as well. I want to make a point there, because this whole topic is going to be very different for somebody who has a really big goal which they're going for and they've given themselves a timeline and they want to hit a certain thing by a certain time, or for somebody who on the other side is just wanting to keep fit and healthy and doesn't have any huge drastic goals. Those are two quite different things. Okay, so if you haven't got mega big goals over the next few weeks and you just want to stay on track or just remain consistent, just focus on being active. Okay, so get your 10K steps in every day, or at least 8K. I always say 10K, but go for at least 8. If you do more, you know, brilliant. Those of you who are gym goers, who do your workouts and want to really keep your fitness up, make sure you schedule in time. Yeah, make sure that time is scheduled in. And I would suggest doing at least 2 workouts a week over these next few weeks as a minimum, if you really want to keep on top of things. Doesn't matter when you do these workouts. If your schedule over the festive period is a bit crazy and it's a little bit all over the place, you need to just get more organized, basically, and just plan ahead a little bit more than what you would do before. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about planning ahead shortly, because planning ahead and being organized is one of the key things here that's just going to really help you in general over these next few weeks in all areas. But for example, look at your diary on Sunday. So next week is like the lead up to Christmas, right? So look in the diary on Sunday, look at your week ahead, look at your free time, and just decide at that point when you're going to get your workouts in, right? So that might mean, I know most of you on here are early risers already, but that might change in the lead up to the festive period, into the Christmas weekend. Yeah. So maybe that does mean getting up even earlier than previously. Maybe that does mean that you maybe have to get your kids up first, do what they need to do, and then get your workout in. Yeah, it's just about being organized, planning ahead, and just you need to make sure that you keep yourself a priority over this time. This is probably one of the most important times for you to be a priority. And I want you to remember that, because especially at Christmas, when there's so much family and stuff going on, it can be very easy to slip away from that. And do things like with your family and friends, like those of you who have kids, get the kids involved, go for a walk with the kids. Yeah, do things which can include them. I know a lot of you who train with me who have kids, the kids come and get involved, do the workouts with you as well. So just get the family involved so that everybody wins. Now, going back to the priorities, which brings me on to my next point. So if it is a priority to you, you will do it. Yeah, you will know this by now. If it is a priority, you will do it. Maybe you won't do the thing when you've planned to do it because life happens, things get in the way, schedules get moved. But if it is a priority to you, I will guarantee that you will do it at some point. Those of you who have just done the 6-week challenge have proved that, because you all showed up pretty much every single day. And if you haven't showed up, you've done the replay and you got it done because it was a priority. Yeah. So what I suggest you do, guys, is tonight, like right now, right this very second, I want you to decide what are your priorities going to be over these next few weeks. Really, what are they going to be? Are you going to make your workouts a priority? Yes or no? If you are, fantastic. I have absolutely no doubt you'll get them in. But if you're not going to make them a priority, I'm not going to try and convince you, that you should make it a priority, because you've already decided that that's not going to be your priority. And that's cool. So if you don't feel like they're going to be a priority these next couple of weeks, that's cool. But just make yourself aware of that so you don't fall into that trap of, oh, I really should be doing that workout. I feel really shit that I've not done that workout, and now I'm in a negative spiral. Yeah. So just decide what your plan of action is going to be over these next few weeks. Okay. We don't want to fall into that trap of guilt. Those of you who've just done the 6-week challenge with me, we spoke about that a lot. We really want to avoid falling into the trap of feeling guilty, feeling bad for things that we have or haven't done, because the minute we do, that vibration gets lowered and then everything doesn't feel good. And we don't want to be in that place, especially over Christmas. Okay. So we want to keep that vibe high. We want to be feeling good, putting positive energy out there, and just being our absolute best. Okay. Feeling our absolute best. So in order to avoid that guilt, you've got to avoid getting yourself into that situation in the first place. Okay. So decide what you're going to do, decide what the priorities are going to be, get really, really clear over these next few weeks, not just with your workouts, just in general, and just act accordingly. Okay. So a couple of you guys asked me some questions regarding remaining consistent over these next few weeks. And the thing is, I can give you all of these tips, and I can suggest that you do this and suggest that you do that. And like with what I've just been speaking about, the bottom line is that it's up to you. Yeah, it's totally up to you. I can only do so much as your coach. I can only do so much. There's that famous saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink. So I can lead you to all the things that you need to stay on track, but I am not you. You are you, and only you are able to deal with those things. Okay. So if it was you that asked that question, there's a couple, I don't know if anyone's on live actually who asked that question, but if that was you that asked that question surrounding the consistency, I just want you to revisit your why. Why are you on this health and fitness journey? Why are you on this mindset journey? Why do you want the results that you want? Why are you a part of this community? Yeah. Get really clear on your why. And if your why is strong enough, you shouldn't have any problems with consistency in terms of, like, generally speaking. You just shouldn't. We all have our bad days. We do. We all have our days when our energy is low. We all have our days when life happens and shit happens. And, you know, we all go through stuff 100%. But if you want the results enough, you will continue to show up for yourself, Christmas or not. Yeah. Another thing that I'd like to suggest at this point, guys, is finding an accountability partner. Some of you will have them already from the 6-week challenge if you were doing that. If you weren't, then if you're not in the Facebook group already, come into the Facebook group and find an accountability partner. If that is something you want to do, in you know, whether that's to do your workouts with, whether it's to count your steps with, whether it's to keep on top of your nutrition, like whatever it is, just somebody who you can check in with daily or weekly. I suggest daily, and just help each other. Just help each other stay on track. Like I always say, you have to be accountable to yourself. There's only so much that the accountability partner can do. But if you have got that person who you know is like relying on you to help them, and they're helping you, it is just a really good addition in terms of hitting your goals. Okay. So another tip of mine with your fitness and your exercise is, this is something which I always do, is I always, no matter what, will do a workout on Christmas Eve, the morning of Christmas Eve. Always. I love it. The gyms are still open. The gyms don't close until, I don't know, maybe 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, whatever. The gyms are open. I love doing a workout on Christmas Eve for a variety of reasons. First of all, I just love doing it. I love the way that exercise makes me feel, and I love Christmas. So if I can start that festive few days, having done my workout, releasing those endorphins, feeling good about myself, it just puts me in a high vibe and life is good, first of all. Second of all, knowing that I'm doing a workout on Christmas Eve means that I will 100% stay on track with my exercise up until that point. Because in my head, psychologically, subconsciously, consciously, however you look at it, if I'm doing a workout on the 24th, why would I stop doing it before then? So it brings me right up until that point of those 3 days, which I was speaking about. Okay. So my routine will stay the same up until that point, give or take maybe 1 or 2 workouts, which maybe won't happen due to life happening. Right. So I also don't want to be that person. And I'm sure you guys don't as well, especially if you've been on that, you know, this whole journey up until this point where your fitness has improved so much. Like Ellen, for you, for example, like, you know, you did the full bums class last week and you like felt so good about yourself. Like you don't want to be in a position on the 27th or the 28th where you come back and do a workout where you're really struggling because you've not done anything for 2 weeks. I'm not picking on you, by the way. I'm just using that as an example. Yeah. Like all of you guys have increased your fitness so much over these last 6 weeks or however long. And you don't want to be that person because it's very quickly that your body forgets what you've done. It remembers it again quickly when you come back, but it quickly forgets. And it is a struggle to get back into it. So don't let all that hard work that you've done go to waste for the sake of a couple of weeks of just not being necessary for you to not continue with your consistency. Yeah. Another tip for your workouts over these next couple of weeks, continue to, and if you haven't already, just start doing your workouts in the morning still. Try get them in the morning, just because of the whole festive period and how it works and what's going on. You're much more likely to get distracted as the day goes on. You're much more likely to get an invitation to the pub or to your friend's house or whatever as the day goes on. If you've done your workout in the morning already, you don't need to worry. Okay. It's just a easier way to stay on track. So to summarize the fitness side of things, guys, these are my 5 top tips. So make sure you've got these points written down. So number 1, make decisions. Starting now, make decisions, decide what you're prioritizing over these next few weeks and stick to it. Okay. Number 2, plan ahead and get organized. Look at your diary. Look at your diary over the next couple of weeks, all the way up until Christmas. And after, look at it between Christmas and New Year as well, because that period of time between Christmas and New Year is always a bit, what the hell's going on? No one knows what day it is. No one knows what they're doing. There's no reason why you can't be back to your routine on the 27th. Just do your best to do that. Okay. So look at your diary, schedule your time in for the things that you're prioritizing, and do your best to stick to it. Number 3, remember you are in control. You are in control. Whenever you feel like you're slipping, I just want you to remember that you're the only person who can get the results. Not me, not your accountability partner, you. By all means, come to me, guys, always, as you always do anyway, but just by all means, come to me, even on Christmas Day. You know what I'm like, I'll probably be chatting to you all on WhatsApp on Christmas Day anyway. But come to me whenever you need like anything in terms of support, but just know that only you can make that ultimate decision. Yeah. Number 4, just stay active. Just stay active. Don't schedule in 5 workouts a week if you know it's not going to happen. Schedule in 1 workout or 2 workouts or 3 workouts, and just focus on getting your 8 to 10,000 steps in or more every day as your focus. Just make yourself busy. Keep yourself moving. Okay. And number 5, do a workout on Christmas Eve. I want you all to do a workout on Christmas Eve. Please. That will make me so happy. I will actually be pre-recording a workout for Christmas Eve, which I'll post the morning of Christmas Eve. So, or maybe I'll post it the night before, because some of you might be up earlier than me. For example, Katie. I know you're up mega early. So I'll post it on the 23rd, like really late at night. So if you guys want to do that workout, then you'll have one to follow. Let me just have some water before I move on. Okay, guys. So next topic, the food. My favorite topic. Love the food. Okay. First of all, I actually want you to treat yourself a little bit. A little bit. Okay. Not all day, every day, but treat yourself a little bit. Now, the reason I'm asking you to do this is because of what will happen if you try and be really, really strict the whole time between now and then, right? If you try and be really strict, like with any diet, if I ask you, or if anyone asks you to fully restrict yourself of something, the minute you're put in front of that thing, especially after a few weeks of not having that thing, you're very likely to go overboard and just binge or overeat, and it doesn't end well. So if I was to say to you, don't have anything, and then on Christmas Day, go wild, no. Don't get yourself in that headspace of restricting yourself. I want you to let yourself, treat yourself a little bit. So like I mentioned at the start, have a mince pie, but don't have one every single day. Yeah. Have a glass or 5 of Prosecco, but once a week, not once a day. Yeah. Christmas is a time to be celebrating, to be spending time with our loved ones, and food and drink is the most social of all things, right? It's just what we do as humans. It's a very social thing to do. We eat together, we have a drink together, alcoholic or not. It's just a social thing. And it's something that makes us happy. So please don't deprive yourself. Let yourself enjoy a treat here or there. And when it comes to Christmas Day, just enjoy yourself, please. Okay. Do you want to look back at your memories of Christmas Day 2022 and think, oh yeah, that was the day when, everyone else was really enjoying themselves and eating that delicious food that mum was cooking, and everyone was having a great time, and I was sitting there hungry and miserable, so I didn't want to go over my calorie count for the day, and I was just in a bad mood. No, I definitely don't want to be in that place, and I'm sure you guys don't either. Yeah, you want to look back at Christmas Day and think, yes, that was such a lovely day. I really enjoyed myself. I have no regrets because it was one day. One day. It's one day of the year. Guys, you don't get skinny and lose a load of fat if you eat salad all day for one day. You just won't, right? So you're not going to get really fat and gain loads of weight if you go a little bit overboard on Christmas Day. You just won't. Okay, so please just remember that. Just enjoy yourself. And as I said before, just remain as normal as possible up until that point. And, like I said, have a couple of treats here and there, but it doesn't matter if you go a bit wild or whatever on that day, because you're going to be keeping on track with your healthy habits up until then and after anyway. And if you're somebody who, I know some of you guys are, you have your nutritious supplements and you have your protein and you have this and you have that, keep doing all of that as well. You're not going to stop doing that. Like, there's really no reason for anybody to be worrying about anything at this point. And it's having this whole worrying mindset, which then causes people to just go a bit crazy over it. We definitely don't need to be doing that. So I just want to touch on calories here for a second as well. So most people tend to keep track of their calories, right, on a daily basis when they're tracking their food. I'm going to suggest another way. If you are somebody who is on a fat loss journey and you're wanting to either drop your weight down a little bit more over these next couple of weeks, or simply just, keep on top of it and remain in control of what you're doing. So this might work a little bit better for you. Rather than focusing on your daily calorie count, I want you to focus on your weekly calorie count. Okay. So for example, say, for example, your daily calorie intake that you need to be having every day to lose weight or to maintain your weight, say it's 1,700, right? Times that by 7. So you've got your 7 days worth of calories, your week's worth of calories, which leads to 11,900. Okay. So say it's Monday morning, and say it's Monday that's coming, Monday after this weekend, right? Monday morning, that it's Christmas weekend. So maybe on Friday night, you're going out for cocktails with the girls. Saturday, it's Christmas Eve. Maybe you're having a meal with the family or whatever. You're going to the pub. And then on Sunday, you're having, your big day. So you're probably looking at roughly, let's just say, for example, give or take, but you're looking at roughly, say, an extra 1,000 calories a day on the food and drink, which you wouldn't normally be having. Yeah. So if you know that you're going to be having those extra calories, save those calories up throughout the week by simply just having a little bit less every day leading up to those points. And I want to just make a point here, like, don't be mega like, oh my God, I must count my calories so strictly. But if you do want to lose weight and this is something that you're serious about, or you do want to make sure you don't gain weight, you need to be on top of your calories to a certain degree. Okay. So just save a little bit. So say 1,700 is what you would normally be having a day. Maybe drop it down to 1,550, for example, roughly. Yeah. And then by the time the weekend comes, you've saved up hundreds of calories. And you don't need to, there's no reason to feel that guilt over anything. Okay. So that might work better for some of you. I had a conversation with one of the girls who's not actually on the live about this, because she struggles with certain things surrounding sticking to things daily in her routine and stuff. So I said, don't worry about the day-to-day stuff, worry about it weekly. And I promise you, it can be a much easier way to deal with things. Okay. So just think about what works best for you. Some people prefer to stick to day-to-day. Other people prefer the weekly way of doing things. Other people even prefer the monthly way of doing it. You can do it monthly as well. It depends what your lifestyle is. So you've got to just figure out what works for you. Okay. If anyone needs any help, by the way, with their calories and what they need to be having, what they shouldn't be having, please just let me know. I'm by no means a qualified nutritionist, but I certainly do have the knowledge and experience of what you need to do to lose weight or maintain weight in a healthy and sustainable way. So if you want me to help you, please just reach out. Another thing I want to mention in terms of your food over these next couple of weeks is the importance of your breakfast and getting protein in the morning. Protein of some kind. Okay. Protein is key when it comes to staying on track, for a variety of nutritious reasons. But one of the main reasons is because what it does when you have protein, it actually reduces the hunger hormone within you, and it boosts a number of satiety hormones. So your satiety hormones are what fills you up, basically. That's what that means. So you're going to be filling yourself up at the start of the day. And what will then happen is, because you filled yourself up, you'll probably end up consuming less as the day goes on. Whereas if you were to skip breakfast, or you were going to have something sugary or carby, you're not going to be as full for as long as you would if you have protein. And then you kind of set yourself off on a bit of a wrong track for the day, basically, in terms of, sticking to your calories and all of that. I'm just going to have a quick look at the chat. Yeah, shakes are a godsend. They really, really, really are. Exactly, Kim. And do you know what? I've actually caught myself having cereal. I never, ever, ever used to have cereal. So for years, I've not had cereal, but we now have it in the house because Greg's little boy has it for breakfast sometimes. And I've had cereal a couple of times. And every time I do, I'm like, why did I just do that? Because I'm literally starving about 45 minutes later. And I'm like, well, that was a waste of calories and a waste of breakfast. And I end up having a protein shake about an hour or two later anyway. Okay. So some examples of protein fueled breakfasts are things like protein shakes, protein pancakes, protein smoothies, add your fruit and veggies in, eggs. Please don't make the mistake of thinking eggs are dairy. Eggs are protein. So get your eggs in. You can make some oats with protein added in there. That's a really great filling breakfast as well. And also not just for your breakfast, guys, but protein should be your main focus for all of your meals, because it will fill you up the most and it's just good for you. It's good for your muscles, especially if you're working out, and it's just good for you. Okay. So that is the food. Let's move on to the drinks. So I know some of you don't drink, but I know that many of you do. So during the festive season, guys, I just want you to be aware of what you're drinking. Calories do count, even though it's liquid. I know, absolutely outrageous. I can't believe it either. Surely we must just weigh it out, if only. But no, calories do count with our drinks, okay? And some of the most delicious cocktails and the drinks that are out there, because they're so delicious, probably is because they have a large amount of calories in them. So I'm just going to give you some examples, just so that you kind of know where we're at with all of these. So glass of Prosecco, only 80 calories. This is great. This is a low one. We like that. So glass of Prosecco, 80. Glass of champagne, between 105 and 125. Now, if I look at my Christmas day, I probably have at least 8 glasses of champagne, probably 10, if I'm honest, over the day. That's like over 1,000 calories just on alcohol. So I've got to be saving up a lot in my calorie bank before Christmas Day just for the champagne. That's not even talking about wine and anything else that comes with it as well. Yeah. So you've got white wine, anything between 110 and 125 calories per glass. Red wine is a little bit more, up to 130. Onto some cocktails. So you've got your margarita, which is 120, mojito, 135, pina colada, 170, vodka Red Bull, 206. Like, that's the high one. Cosmopolitan, 218. Espresso martini, which is my favorite, and it saddens me to tell you this news, 230 calories, guys, in an espresso martini. Couple of espresso martinis and you're on 500 calories. Like, that's crazy. And we just aren't aware of it. Like, if you think of when you go out with your girlfriends or whatever, and you are having a couple of drinks and you're going for dinner, you might have 2 or 3 cocktails before you even put the food in your mouth. You could be up to nearly 700 calories if you're having a few espresso martinis. So just be aware. As I said, enjoy. I'm going to keep saying that because I don't want you to be like, oh no, I can't enjoy myself. I've got to watch my calories. But just be aware of what you're consuming. Okay. So if you are on a night out and you want to have a few drinks, by all means, have a glass or 2 of wine, have a couple of cocktails, but then switch it up to maybe like a spirit and like a light mixer. So for example, if you were to have like a vodka and a Diet Coke, or like a light tonic or a soda water, something like that, keeping your drinks like under 100 calories basically is where you want to be if you are drinking. Another trick is to have a glass of actual water, just normal water in between drinks. So not only is that going to fill you up and you'll drink less, you'll also make your hangover a lot less the next day because you're going to be remaining hydrated. Okay. So just remember, you are in control. I just want to tell you a little story here, because I think it can be easy to think that, oh yeah, I say I'm in control, but when it comes, am I really in control? And you feel like you can be influenced quite easily, but just remember that you really are. And I just want to tell you a story. A couple of years ago, some of you might know this story already, but I did like a 12-week intense fitness and nutrition program where I was basically just shredding. Like, I shredded all the fat off of me, not all of it, but a lot of it. And it was around week 8, week 8 or week 9, and it was 2 massive family occasions within my family, and we had a massive party, and I did not touch a sip of alcohol, which for me, everyone was like, why aren't you drinking? Why aren't you drinking? Why aren't you drinking? Why aren't you drinking? Because I do like a drink and I love a party. But I was so aligned with my goal at the time that I was not even tempted to touch a sip of alcohol. Now, I just want to add that I was fucking miserable during that time as well. And I will never do that again, because I'm pissed off now that I'm glad that I stuck to what I said I was going to do, and I proved to myself that I could do something which I set out to do. But when I look back at my memories and all the photos and whatever of those special occasions, in my head, I'm like, yeah, but I wasn't really enjoying myself because I was so concerned with how I was feeling and how I was looking. And that's something which I don't ever want to like pay forward to people. I think it's amazing if you have got those set goals, and if if you're competing, and I always say, if you're a bikini competitor or you've got these massive events in your life which you want to work towards, then you've got to go a little bit more hardcore. But if you're not, don't put yourself through the suffering if you don't need to. Like, our life is here to be enjoyed. But the reason I told you that story is just because that was proof that I was in control of what I said I was going to do. And when you want something enough, whatever it is in your life, if you want it enough, you will 100% stick to it. Okay, so just remember that. The thing is as well, yes, it's Christmas time, but it's always going to be something time in your life. Yeah, it's always going to be something. It's always going to be your birthday or a friend's birthday or someone else's birthday. It's always going to be a work event or family visiting, or you're going on holiday, or Christmas or New Year or Easter or Halloween or an anniversary. Yeah, like, you get my drift. There's always going to be an occasion where you can turn that thing into an excuse as to why you're not sticking to your consistency. But those things will only ever become an excuse if you decide that you're going to lose control and you're going to let yourself do that. Yeah. Can you see the running theme here, guys? It's all about just making a decision, deciding what's important, sticking to it, running with it, and just getting it done when you say you're going to get something done. Okay. So to summarize on the food and drink, these are my top 5 tips for you. Number 1, treat yourself a little bit. Treat yourself a little bit. Do not fully deprive yourself, so that when it comes to Christmas Day, you go absolutely mental. Just treat yourself a little bit over this next few weeks and enjoy Christmas Day. Just enjoy it. Okay. Number 2, get in control. So get in control of your calories, get in control of your routine, just get in control and stick to it. Number 3, remember to eat your breakfast and make it a protein-fueled one. Number 4, be mindful when you're out drinking. Choose the lower calorie options. Replace every other drink with a glass of water if you can. Just be mindful, just be aware. And number 5, I know I've already said get in control, but number 5, remember who is in control. No one's going to force you to do anything. No one's going to force feed you. No one's going to force drink you. You can be as disciplined as you choose to be. Okay. Okay, so on to the final section this evening, guys, which is surrounding our habits and just our overall general mindset in terms of our personal thoughts, our feelings, our actions during this next couple of weeks. Okay. So I've mentioned this in the previous parts already, but I want to really emphasize this point of just sticking to your routine as much as possible. Okay. Like I said, those 3 days between Christmas Eve and Boxing Day, cool, your routine's probably going to be out the window. That's cool. We know it's happening. Fine. We're planning for that. Okay. So because we're planning for that, we can plan around that and keep things as in routine as possible up until and after that point. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to write down the 3 things that are most important to you in terms of your routine, which you're going to make sure you stick to over these next few weeks leading up to Christmas, these next couple of weeks, not even couple of weeks now, 10 days. So I'm just going to tell you mine. So my first one, which I'm going to make sure I stick to, waking up early and getting a workout in on the days which I say I'm going to get a workout in. So for me at the moment, that's going to be 3 or 4 times a week. My second thing is drinking my water and getting my nutrition supplements in every day. That's really important to me as well. And my third one is getting my personal development in daily. So whether that's listening to my audio, reading a few pages of a book, listening to a podcast, whatever. But those are my 3 things. And those 3 things are key for me to stick to, because doing those 3 things make me feel my best mentally and physically. Okay. So if I know I'm doing those 3 things, even if other parts of my routine go a bit skew-iffy and I don't stick to them, I know that if those 3 things are on point, I'm going to be all good. So what are the 3 things that you are going to prioritize in terms of your routine and your daily habits? Write them down. Let me know when you've written them down. Beth, no more buying you tequila rosé. No nights out, Beth, until after Christmas. Let me know when you're done. Ellen's done. Fabulous. And also as well here, you know, these 3 things that you're prioritizing, these are going to be different for all of you. So if yours don't sound like what mine sound like, there's no right or wrong answer, because these 3 things have to be what's important for you. What 3 things are going to make you feel your best over these next couple of weeks and moving forward. Okay. Because when you're consistent with these 3 things, you're going to be feeling your best, which means it allows for those other parts of your routine to be a little bit more relaxed if they need to be. Okay. Okay, guys. So we're going to move on. So we're going to talk about family for a little bit. Okay. So let's talk about family. Let's talk about spending time with people who we perhaps find slightly challenging, because this is definitely a thing. And if there's one time of the year where this is definitely a thing, it's going to be Christmas. Okay. So when it comes to this topic, the first thing I want to say to you is that you need to be number 1 here in terms of who's important and whose mental health needs to be looked after. You have to be number 1. Okay. For some of you, there might just be like a minor situation which you're dealing with. You know, maybe you've got an annoying mother-in-law or annoying cousin who just pisses you off, but that's it really. Like there's, you know, it's nothing drastic other than the fact that they're just a bit annoying and you wish they'd keep their opinions to themselves, for example. Yeah. However, there might be some of you who have to deal with things at this time of year which are a lot more intense. Yeah. You might have a mother-in-law that could be somebody who really belittles you, makes you feel sad, makes you feel like shit. Maybe you've got a cousin who actually might say something that triggers something within you, which makes you feel anxious. Yeah. These are the kinds of things which people are going to come across over this period of time. We come across them all throughout the year, but Christmas is often a time where we have no choice but to be around those people. And that's when it can become a little bit difficult. So make sure you're looking after number 1, and number 1 is you. Okay. So I've got some tips for you to stick to surrounding this topic, which are going to help you. So the first thing, mentally prepare yourself for the situation and try not to make it worse than it needs to be. We can become very good at playing things out in our head and playing out role plays of the worst case scenario when it's probably not going to be that bad. So the best thing that we can do is not make it worse than it needs to be in our head before it happens. Okay. So if you know you're going to be around this person when you really don't want to be, just remind yourself that you're not going to be spending your time with them forever. You've got everything within you to remain in control of the situation in terms of how you respond. If you remember those who did the 6-week challenge, react versus respond. Try not to react and just respond. Yeah. And something really important to remember here, guys, is whatever this person is saying or doing to you, which is making you feel a certain way, please remember it's not about you. It's about them. The way that they are being is all about them and not about you. If that person feels the need to belittle you, say things that are hurtful or whatever it is that they're saying, it's because they are going through something themselves. They have a sadness within them, which is causing them to act a certain way and say certain things. Yeah. And this is by no means an excuse for their behavior. I want to make that really, really clear. But if you can just remind yourself that actually they're not okay, they have their own issues which they're dealing with, they're sad about something in their life, has nothing to do with you, everything to do with them. It just, it just makes it a little bit easier to deal with. And if you can, just try and always come from a place of love when it comes to these situations, and just, hope and pray for them that whatever issues they are going through, can they, you want them to just get through it and just be happier, because it would stop them behaving in that way. Yeah. So that's my first tip. My second tip, you can hear what they're saying, but you don't have to listen. So that's two very different things. Hearing somebody and listening to somebody are two very, very, very different things. So someone can talk to you, but you're not actually taking it in. And there's a couple of things which you can do. For example, say somebody's talking to you and you can tell that they're coming from a negative place and they're not on your vibe. You don't feel aligned with how they're behaving or whatever, and it's bothering you. You can feel your energy starting to shift, right? What you can do, if that person's looking at you or just talking, this is like a little tip, find something. So say, okay, I'm going to look at you, Katie, because I can see you on the screen. So I can see Katie here, right? Literally like in my eye line here. If Katie's talking to me and I'm not enjoying the situation, what I'll do is I'll move my eyes very slightly just next to her. So I can see she's got a photo up on her wall, which I'm now staring at. Okay, so Katie's literally here, but I'm looking here. Whilst Katie's talking to me, I'm going to let her talk, but my attention is going on that photo on her wall. And until she stops talking, I'm not going to bring my focus back to her. And what that will do is that's going to allow me to listen. I can hear her, but I'm not taking any of it in. So if you find yourself in a situation where that's happening, that's a good little cheeky tip for you guys to do. Okay. Another thing as well is just, take time out. If there's a conversation going on which you don't want to be involved with, if there's an argument going on which you don't want to be involved with, just take time out, leave the room. Even if it means going to the bathroom and sitting on the toilet for a few minutes. Yeah, take some deep breaths, just leave the room. Even if it means going and doing a really short meditation in the bathroom, just do it. You can even pretend your phone is ringing as well. Like, how easy, like I could literally just be like, oh, sorry guys, one sec, hello, and walk out. Like you can get yourself out of the situation. Nobody needs to know what you're doing. If you don't feel comfortable in a situation, get out of it. Okay. Or you can change the subjects, or you can just, whatever it is, you do not please never feel pressured to be involved in that situation, and don't feel bad about leaving the situation as well. Okay. It's so important. I cannot stress to you enough. It's so important to protect your energy all the time, not only at this time, every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year. That should be your priority, is protecting your own energy. So you need to do whatever you can to do that, to remain as peaceful as much as you can. Okay. Remember, you cannot fill from an empty cup. You just can't. So if you want to be that best person, if you want to give your best to your kids, to your parents, to your boyfriend, to your husband, to your girlfriend, to your wife, to your friends, to your work colleagues, if you want to give your best, you have to be your best. And in order for you to be your best, you've got to feel your best. So you've got to take the required action to get you to that place. Okay. And my last point here, guys, just have fun. Just have fun over these next couple of weeks. Have fun. Do your best to just feel grateful as often as you can as well. Do what makes you happy. Do what lights up your fire. Spend time with people that make you feel good. Watch the shit on TV if you want to watch it. If it's fun and it's easy to watch and it makes you feel good, watch it. Play those silly Christmas games. Eat that bloody mince pie. Have a bloody Prosecco. Just one, not 20. Just have fun. Okay, guys, because when we are having fun, we put ourselves in a high vibration and we attract the good stuff. Okay, it's just what happens. When we're feeling grateful for what we have, we put ourselves in a high vibration, we attract more good stuff. Yeah, we attract the good things when we're feeling good. So even when Aunt Susan is pissing you off because she said your hair looks shit, just be grateful that your hair doesn't look like hers. It's fine. Find something to be grateful for. Okay. Whatever it is, just remain grateful. And I promise you guys, when you are in that state, you know this by now, you attract more things to be grateful for. It's where the magic happens. Okay. So guys, top 5 tips surrounding your personal mindset and feeling your best. Number 1, stick to your routine as much as possible. Stick to your routine as much as possible. Number 2, pick your daily 3 habits, which you are going to stick to, and stick to them. I'd love you guys to share in the group chat as well what yours are. Kimberly, you can send yours to Ellen and she can let us know what they are. Number 3, being in control of your responses. So, react versus respond. Just when spending time with those people that you find challenging, remember you're in control of how you respond. Do not react. Number 4, take time out for you and protect your energy. And number 5, have fun and do your absolute best to be grateful as often as possible, even when it feels challenging. Okay. Okay, guys, has anybody got any questions about anything? Let me just have a browse through the chat. I don't think anyone put anything in here. That's so true, Kim. 3 days, it's 9 meals out of 1,095. Like, come on, it's not going to break you, is it? One thing I want to add there, though, as much as I've said that it is just a day or 3 days, because it is, and if your routine on either side of it isn't on point, that's when shit can hit the fan. So that's why I've made such a big deal of making sure that you stick to your routine as much as possible before and after, and sticking to those habits during as well. Yeah, because when they're not, it can be very easy to spiral in the wrong direction. So you've got to remain in control as much as possible, so that those 3 days are only 3 days, and they're not 3 days which turn into a week, which turn into 2 weeks, which turn into a month, and then you're in trouble. Okay. Ellen, please can we do a bums Christmas Eve sesh? You can, but it's going to have to be in the morning. So If you can organize it for the morning, babes, for sure. What else is there? 6 weeks ago, you want to go to the gym more? Yeah. Yeah, those 3 days after what do you call it? Christmas are just crazy. Cool. All right, guys. If no one has any other questions, then we will wrap it up there. Let me just stop recording. How can I stop recording?